Hi, this is Alan Barnes of Nautical Sailing Services, and we're here with Mark Noel's new Santana 525 Afternoon Delight. We're here just going through the basic raising of the mast and doing a basic tune. To be clear, everybody has their own thoughts and processes for tuning, but this is the way I do a base tune for either a 525 or for any boat. Okay, so what we've got here is we've got a large loop, and it's just below the spreaders. And what's going to happen is you're going to raise it up, and the reason for the large loop is so that once you get the mast up, you can get the crane and the loop down. Make sure that these things don't kink like that, because they bend. And that's a common problem with swept back spreaders and also 525s. So we have to make sure that they're coming back and make sure they're lined back like that. Okay? Okay, stop there. That's probably good. Mark?
Oh, the boat needs to come out.
Yeah.
There you go, you're there. There you go.
Okay.
Back almost too much. Good. Pins in.
Just wait one sec.
Hold on, Ken.
Okay, so watch those tangs. Make sure we're okay.
Okay, so now the next thing is you don't want to knock off his masthead pin.
Check those side stays. This is
the forestay.
Okay, so you're using your spin halyard as temporary forestay?
correct. Hold the stick up for you.
Okay.
There you go.
Yeah.
Like I should be able to release all the pressure. Okay, let's
Go ahead.
put some load on that blue one.
Okay, so you make sure you have a replacement forestay, you have a halyard on, and make sure it's all down before he releases this. And this tail here is conveniently done so that when he drops it,
Ready?
I can pull it down. Yep. And let's hope the loop is big enough. I'm just checking with these loose gauges. I'm checking the size of the wire. And this is a 5/32, which is stock. So this is a 40-year-old shroud. I'm replacing them all with 3/16 because 5/32 is sort of just a mid-size, and also you're going up 3/16 where it's very common to get the common turnbuckles, to get the common swedges, and it's a little stronger, probably a little less stretch. I'm going to use the new gadget because this is a bit more universal. This is a new gadget called a spin lock gauge. Rig sense. What we're doing is we're backing off your turnbuckle max rake.
Okay.
We don't really care about the rig right now. We're just making sure that we get our maximum rate. This is my personal thing. Okay, now take a video of this. Oh, the boat's steady, and you see how much rake there is. Okay, so there's not much rake in this, but that's more than most. It's like probably 6-8 inches at the gooseneck. So if you want to measure, how much rake you've got, what you do is you get some heavy weights, put it on something like this. More weight the better. Pull it up. A little more. Okay. Now everybody just stay calm. I'll get off the boat. And if someone can hand me those cherries. No, a measure. A measure. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to get the boat. I'm going to stand with my weight over keel. Neutral spot. Now, how much is it back from the pot? It's not back at all. So, what you thought was 6 inches is a foot. Everybody see that?
So you're measuring right from the gooseneck
Yeah.
to where that weight has the main halyard pulled
Yep.
straight down. 12 inches?
Yeah. So basically you've got yourself a footer rake. So that's how you measure rake. That is before we put pre-bend or anything like that in. Now I want you also to line that camera up with the track right here. And this is what everybody should get used to doing, is putting their hat on backwards, just like a cameraman, and putting their eye up, right up the mast. And I think you'll determine that it's not straight. Right there. Okay? So, while you're handing there, I'm going to give this to you. What I want you to do is I want you to leave it there, and I want you to watch what I do. I'm going to pull on this, and then I'm going to pull on this. That was one outer. This is the other outer. This is one inner, and this is another inner. Okay? Good. So that tells you what these each will do in order to adjust this rig. We are going to measure, and if we're really lucky, the mast might be perfectly in column. And if that's the case, then we've just got a final tune, which is easy.
So you're hooking a wire or some kind of non-stretchable measuring tape up
Yep.
to your
Metal.
main halyard.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I got a special deal. It's not metric. So we're gonna go with standard. And what we're gonna do is, rather than using the rope as a stretch mark, we're gonna use this that is not a stretch mark. Here you go. So that should be tight. So now we're going to get Michelle to measure, and what do we think is identical on both ends? So I'm going to go with the very bottom inside, right where right where it joins. Yeah, right there.
Okay.
So you're going to put your finger right down in there. Now that is metal up top, and give it your stretch.
Yeah. 32.11.
Okay, so you're comfortable with that amount of stretch?
Yeah.
So you go do the same thing on the other side. So the mast, the top of the mast is in the center of the boat.
And if it wasn't, what would you do?
Then what you do is you would start adjusting your outer shrouds to there
Until you get equal.
until you get equal. And the way you always do a tune is you always undo, you back off your inners so that they're flopping around. You put your outers on, make sure it's square, make sure you're double checking, which is really good. So it is in column. Then what you do is you start tightening down your outers to, and I like to use 650 pounds or a little over 300 kilos on the spin lock. Then when it's all down and it's all nice and straight and they're both equal, only then do you start to bring the inners in, because if you just do the outers, you'll have your mast will bend like this. So what the inners do is they bring the mast back. Now, if you have a certain mainsail that is really full and you want to flatten it, then what you do is you don't do a lot of inners, so you end up, your mast is pre-bend, and they call it pre-bend like this. If you have a fairly flat main, you'll have where there's very little pre-bend. So the inners are what the helmsman will want to play with his tune of his main. Now, here's the way you find out. You grab yourself a main, you go down and you put it on the lawn, and what you do is you pull it tight along the luff, and then you find 3 points along the luff, and you'll see that when you lay the mast down, you've seen this, that you pull it, it actually has a bend to it. Well, that's how they designed the draft of the sail, is in with the bend of the sail. So when you lay it down, it's not straight. It actually bends like this. So you measure your 3 parts, and you measure the draft that it gives. And then the trick is you do, and you replicate that bottom, medium, top, which is difficult when you only have one set to play with, half of the bend that you find on the sail. So if you do it halfway, that means that you can, when it's blowing, you pull the backstay on and it flattens it right out. And when you let the backstay off, it comes back to halfway. Because if you go all the way, you end up knuckle forward on your sail. We're now set, and we have inside our column, okay, it's straight. It has pre-bend, and that is because there's forestay tension. Okay, so
Are we happy with the outside?
yes, we're happy with the outsides because the lower, and what we're at right now, we are at, and because if it's this side, it'll be the same as the other side. One flick. We are right now, we are at 250 kilos. So what we want to do is go up to 300 kilos. So we're at 250. So put 2 turns on that side, then 2 turns on this side, and then see where we go.
Got it.
1.
1 turn.
Okay.
One turn. 2 turn.
Just a bit over 300, but because I didn't push it the first time, it was at 250. So 150 kilos just because I didn't get that mark correct. So, okay. So I'll do it over here one more time. Like this, get it up high, and then I just push that up so it's on there, and it should read with the right here, it should say 300. So right down there is 300. We're just going to go to 350, or we are going to go to half of 3. We're going to 150 kilos. Okay, so we're doing half. And then you're going to have to go for a sail and see. Here, and what I'm going to do is going to zing it down till the mast is straight. So now, what we've done is we've got so that the outers are correct, we got the inners are correct, and now what's the whole idea of what these things do?
Bend the mast.
Deflect the mast or undeflect the mast. It's trying to, what these will do is we'll pull the mast back into 4.5 column. So right now what we have is we have a bend or a you've got pre-bend, it's called. Right now you have pre-bend from here up of, I would say, I'm going to give it 3 inches. Grab this is good. Okay, we got it. There. So have a look. And so from there, I'm going to bring it out the same. So it's
right.
It's about like there.
Yeah, the
so
middle.
there. So the middle is, and what do you say, 2.5 inches? What would you say?
From the very top.
From the spreader. The
Yeah.
spreader's the middle point.
Oh yeah.
So the spreader is 2.5 inches. So if you take your main out and you lay it down and it's 5, Bob's your uncle. So if you need any tuning help, any halyards, gear, anything like that, North Sails. I'm now working with North, Drew Mitchell in the interior for your North Sails needs. Please give me a call, 250-486-5766, or on email, I return them all, Alan, ALAN, at nauticalsailingservices.com. Thank you very much for watching. Bye.